What is happening, you guys? Welcome back to the Let's Go Win podcast. You're here for a Tuesday tune-up today, and we are sitting with an amazing young lady that is helping so many young ladies out there. Dr. Shelley Nash is a personal style coach. She helps women boost their confidence and elevate their style to achieve the success they desire. Shelley guides them through her groundbreaking 4-month coaching program, Style Your Life, which helps women break free from their past limiting beliefs and self-criticism to take back their power and stand center stage in their life. I can definitely get behind that. Dr. Shelley, how are you doing today?
I'm doing awesome. It's so great to meet you and be here with you today and have this conversation.
Oh, well, I'm fired up to have you on here and what you're doing, helping, people live their best lives, attract their best clients. Like I said, I can get behind that all day, but I want to know, how did Dr. Shelley get to where she is today? Kind of what's your background, Dr. Shelley?
This is a huge story. I'll try to make it quick. I have a very eclectic background. So most people want to know, what's the doctor? So the doctor is Doctor of Chiropractic. And before I became a Doctor of Chiropractic, however, my first degree was in textiles, clothing, and fashion. And I went into that because I had a deep desire for, I didn't know it when I was 5 years old, but for clothing. And I just loved clothes. And growing up, I would sew clothes and envision how I wanted to look in the clothes that I made. And so when it came time to go for college, I just picked textiles and clothing and fashion because that seemed to be my passion, what I was most passionate about. And then worked in that career for about 5 years. And then I got hooked by holistic health and massage therapy, met some chiropractors, and it just grabbed my attention and turned me pretty much totally around and became a chiropractor. Well, first I started doing massage therapy for almost 13 years. And I just always wanted to help people more, really get to the source of the problem, really help empower them to take charge of their lives, and give them more tools. So massage therapy was more relaxing for people. And then in chiropractic, we really got into nutrition and how you live your life. And I worked a lot with the body-mind connection and emotions. I started studying emotional health because I was really an emotional person and I didn't understand what was going on. So I worked with people on releasing emotional patterns and really getting them to be their best selves and live their best lives. And then eventually when I wanted to leave chiropractic, I looked into coaching, and I was coaching women about, empowering them to really take charge from the inside out, as well as, looking further, like what more did they want? What is their passion? And then I had the opportunity through a mutual seminar that we both took to meet Bob Proctor, who is one of the leaders in personal development for over 60 years, and decided to study with him. And actually at the time I was like, if I don't take this opportunity to study with him, I'm going to be really upset with myself. And so I jumped into that, and that just led me down many paths around coaching people around their mindset. But one thing I remember is, so when I was a chiropractor, I would always, I'd keep one foot in fashion. So I was working in fashion and styling women at the same time as being a chiropractor. And when I realized that I would style women on the outside and they would look better for their event or whatever it was they were going to, but they still had a negative self-concept. They were still very critical of their body. And really that style that we did only lasted temporarily. And they would have to continue to buy more and more clothes to feel better about themselves, to project the image that they wanted to project. So when I started coaching, I realized this is a missing link for people. This is something that is going to get women permanent results, to really look at what's going on the inside, to love their body, no matter where they're at, no matter what weight they're at. When you style yourself for where you are right now, you're going to feel good. And then by feeling good, you're going to attract good. So I started moving into coaching women around style and confidence and self-image about 2 years ago. And what I recognized for myself was that I was happier. It felt like I found my niche, that every time I talk about it, I just have a huge smile on my face because I just know this is essential. And I don't think we realize it. So it's kind of my mission to help women realize the power of their style. So
Yeah.
that's a little bit.
No, I absolutely love that. It's what I'm really feeling as you're talking is because when we start talking about self-limiting beliefs, when we start talking about working, like you said, inside out, that's a really scary territory for people to say, oh yeah, sign me up, I want to do that.
Yeah.
Versus starting, maybe let's work on your outside style and then work inward. I think that's brilliant. I don't know if you meant for that marketing wise, but it's brilliant because that attracts people in. People always want to be upgraded on the outside. And I know they do eventually on the inside, but starting from that way, I think is so much smarter, maybe not easier. I don't know if that's the right terminology, but certainly more welcoming than saying, hey, let's work on some self-limiting beliefs and some fears versus let's work on your style. I think that's brilliant.
Well, and I kind of blend them together. I mean, it's really, when I first started talking about style, I realized this is the flower that's going to attract, that attracts the clients for me, that because women want to look good, and it's actually, we can use it both ways. We can temporarily look better on the outside and then also work on the inside. But here's the key, why you want to work on the inside, because style is really who you are, and it's your connection to your passion, and it's you expressing yourself fully. So if there's some, and this is a chiropractic philosophy, we used to use the garden hose. You want to make, if there's a kink in the garden hose, if there's some gunk mud in the garden hose, the water's not going to flow, freely. The nervous system's not going to flow freely. And so the same is true about your passion. If you have some inner beliefs or negative self-concept that's keeping you from tapping into your passion, then you're not going to be able to express yourself fully with your style. And you're not going to, and even if you express yourself with your style, it's not going to be aligned and congruent with who you are and then where you're going and what you want in your life. So it's really the key to, I call it like style is your glow. It's your radiance. It's coming from the inside out. So you could wear pretty much anything and be stylish if you've got that passion. So it's not really about the clothes ultimately. It's about who you are and your expression of who you are.
No, I can relate with this so much. And I talk about this openly. In my first company and a half or so, I was wear the suit and tie guy, 3-button suits, all dialed up. And I was never comfortable in that. I'm a kid from Montana. Jeans and a t-shirt is way more my style. And it's interesting how I felt almost like a fraud wearing that stuff and thinking I had to look that way. But the moment I just embraced, this is who I am. And I loved what you said. You can wear almost anything and make it stylish. You're comfortable in it. And it really allows you to flourish and thrive in being your authentic self. So how do you bring that out for someone when you work with them? And I know it's a 4-month coaching program, but when you sit down, I have to imagine there's a little bit of that really getting to know who they are so you can help them really bring their style to life.
Yeah, we have a path, a journey that we take during that 4 months, and it's really about looking at where are you now. If when you set a goal, you have that goal, but you have to look at where you're starting from as well. So we look at, well, like, what's your current style? What's working, not working about that. And then looking at what they want. That's a big question. What do you want and where are you going? But then we dive into inner style, looking at even things like, are you holding on to any resentment, any anger from the past? How, when I have really patterns like templates that I take them through, where it sounds like, oh, that'd be really hard to look at, but it's like I take you through a template and you just go through the steps and the process works. So releasing any resentment. I already talked about the self-love, and the body love is huge. It's so important. I'm even working through that right now with myself. Am I loving myself right now? And not wishing or hoping that something was different about where I'm at right now. So I guess that's the biggest answer, is that I have templates that take people through that. And even looking at, we've been telling a story about our lives. And there's like an old story we've been telling about who we are and what we're capable of. And to write a new story of who we are, what we're capable of, and where we're going. And in that, I also have a template that makes that really easy for people to do that, even if it's easy with the template, that might bring some things up. But then the magic is that we can fill in with, maybe we make a style mood board. So we get them thinking about their style again, even as they go through this inner style transformation, they're thinking about, where am I going and what do I want to look like? And what does she look like? And how does she act, walk, and talk? And so when we're going through the quote heavy stuff, we try to lighten it up with the outer style and where we're going, and keep the path that way. Then when we get into the outer stuff, most people are having fun. We're cleaning out the closet, we're rearranging the closet, we're looking at your body type, color, things like that are the best for you. So that part of the program is really fun. But even in cleaning out your closet, sometimes you have emotional attachment to some things in your closet that maybe had a negative experience in them, or maybe you had something that you wore for a wedding or for a funeral or whatever it was. Even in cleaning out your closet, sometimes you can go through some emotional release in order to let that go. But as Bob Proctor said, you have to let go and make space for what it is you desire, and that's called the vacuum law of prosperity. Really, is that when you open up and make space, then something that you want is going to come fill that.
Yeah, you said a couple of really brilliant things in there. One of the things that, as you talked, I was thinking of the Happiness Project by Gretchen Rubin. She's got a whole chapter on that purge, on that cleaning out, and how therapeutic that can really be. And it is a good practice for anyone to do, but to have a professional stylist, a professional coach helping you on that journey, like you said, both on the outside and on the inside, because I have to imagine, now I'm not a female, so I don't know everything that goes into that, but I have to imagine some of the comments that have been made by, maybe mom or dad back in the past, or, sisters and brothers and friends, have shaped the way people look at themselves. And so now we're dealing with both like the in and the out. And I'm imagining you're really breaking down some pretty significant walls where so-and-so said this about me, and now I'm still holding on to that 20 years later. I'm still putting a layer of clothing on to maybe hide something. And so much of that is projected in what we wear.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because it's so important. I did a lot of mindset work myself, and I never really found myself looking at some of these details that were really affecting me. And I came up with this memory that when I was in junior high, I was a majorette. And I was called chubby. I was a little bit, I was tall, I was big. And so in that tryout to go from junior high to senior high majorette, there was a band director there, and he gave me this form to give to my parents. And on it, he wrote, appearance is important. Go on a diet. Wow. And so from that, I that really affected me probably, and still does, my entire life. The impression from that is you have to be thin to be successful. In order to get to senior high majorette and drum major, you've got to be thin. And so I became anorexic as a result of that, so that I could do that, so that I could have that position. And then it caused me to always think if I'm not thin, I'm not successful. No matter how much success I had in life, if I wasn't thin, I wasn't really successful. And so we can have these imprints on us that we don't even realize are holding us back, are keeping us stuck. And so that's an imprint that I had. I had an imprint also where my father would always check my mom's cleavage when she had a swimming suit on and wouldn't allow her to show cleavage. So in my head, he didn't do that to me, but it also was a statement like, don't show your cleavage. You can't be feminine and show that. It's not okay. So I have this picture that's one of my main pictures I use. When I first saw it from the photographer, I was like, uh-oh, there's cleavage, and it came out again. And I was like, it's okay. I'm a woman. I'm beautiful. I can show that. It's not, it's not going to cause anything major to happen, but these are really things that each of us has an individual thing that probably happened in our lives that we don't realize it. It's kind of sitting there dormant, but it's still really affecting what's going on the outside.
It's amazing with those hard wires and the imprints, and the world has evolved so much. I mean, if we look at a picture of, people in the 60s and 70s, what they were wearing versus today, it's different. And as we even age, right there, I'm sure our styles evolve and change, but yeah, there's a lot to unpack there. And I just can see, even just talking about the way you dress and why do you think that way? Is that story serving you?
Yeah.
That was the other thing you had said earlier that I thought was so important. I ask that question so often. What is the story you're telling yourself, and is it serving you? I have to imagine you have heard everything, here, there, and in between. Is that really where it starts? Is with the story of how people are seeing themselves? Is that kind of the beginning of your journey with your clients?
Yeah, it's definitely a big part of it, because this goes to a whole nother topic of that we have two images of ourselves. We have the image that we project to the world, and when we have this inner image, and it's really that inner image in the quiet of your own home, it's a secret image, and only you know how you see yourself. And that is the image that keeps you where you're at. You can never outperform that inner image. So when you're trying to go to your next level in business, when you're trying to earn more money, you want to get your style congruent with that level, but you also want to get your inner image congruent with that level. And this is where self-sabotage and the imposter syndrome come up, because you're not congruent. And so that's probably the biggest thing that we work on, is getting your inner image congruent with your outer image, and also moving them to where you want to be in your life, the success you want to have, the amount of money you want to earn, the clients that you want to have. And that continually happens. If you're always setting goals, you're going to always be upgrading your style. You're going to always be upgrading your inner image to meet your outer image. And then when that happens, it's like magic. Then the success drops in, the clients drop in that you want. And we're talking about you're attracting your dream clients, it's all an inside job.
Yeah, what a cool thing you get to do on a daily basis. So you're talking about two of the big ones for sure: self-sabotage, and helping people overcome that, the imposter syndrome, and helping people realize that everyone has felt that at some point in their life. How cool what you get to do on a daily basis, Dr. Shelley. I want to just give you open forum. It's something I didn't know enough to ask you that you just want to make sure to share with the audience before we start to wrap up.
Yeah, I just really want women to understand that they can own their style, to scale their business in 2023. and really the power that style has to impress others with your message and to get them to take action in a direction that you want and that's good for them. You can use style to help others and influence them. I don't know if we have enough time, but this is my mentor, Bob Proctor. He did this for the last 60 years. He knew the power of style. If you've ever seen him talk, seen him walk, he held that image of who he wanted to be, dressed like that person, and he became one of the most highly successful mentors and personal development coaches worldwide. And he loved style. He loved fashion. We had many conversations about it. And if he wasn't feeling right in the clothing that he was wearing, he would go back to the hotel room and change down to his underwear to make sure that the style, the image he was presenting was what was not going to accentuate him, but it was going to help him get his message to the people. And that was what all he was about, was serving other people. So style is so important. And if you want to find out more about how it can influence you, your life, and your business, then I'd be happy to get on a call and chat with people.
And that perfect segue to whether it's females or guys, and you have a female in your life that you're like, they need to talk to Dr. Shelley. What would be the best place for them, best place to connect with you online so they could really learn more about style, your life, and everything that you're doing?
Well, I'm on all the social media platforms, Dr. Shelley Nash. And the best place to write me is probably through my website, which is drshelleynash.com. And then there's a message in the last part of the website where you can send me an email and we can have a chat. Look me up on Facebook, Instagram. I'm on TikTok too, Dr. Shelley Nash. So that is the best way to get a hold of me.
I'm
always doing free. Every month I do a free workshop seminar, and I can help men too. My focus is just really women right now and going through this style program for women.
Well, I love what you're doing, and no doubt the topics you're talking about, it's so much bigger than just what you're wearing. I love how you get into that inner story and what people are telling themselves. And I'm so grateful you were able to come on today and share how you're helping people really embrace who they are and their authentic self, and so they can show up as their best light. I think it's brilliant, Dr. Shelley, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed it.
Look, you guys, she talked about some serious things, and yet it was in such a nice way in terms of your style. But when we're talking about imposter syndrome, we're talking about self-sabotage, we're talking about some real self-limiting beliefs that people have, and she's able to help you overcome it. I hope you go check her out. We will put it in the show notes so you can do that. And also so you can continue to upgrade your style, continue to upgrade your mindset. Make sure to share, subscribe, review this, get it out so we can continue to have amazing guests like Dr. Shelley on the show. Until next time, remember, your mindset matters. I appreciate you all, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much for listening. If this content is delivering value to you, please make sure to subscribe, rate, and review us. That helps us build this community, and that is what we are all about. Building this community as big as we can, helping as many people as we can, and deliver as much value as possible. Be sure to head over to letsgowinpodcast.com for information on my coaching courses, and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn at Let's Go Win 365. Let's go win and transcend in life.
This is the Let's Go Win podcast with your host, J.M. Ryerson.